referrals before I don't like to talk about myself for 10 minutes, so I decided to come up with some really cool stuff for web design practices. But the best referrals for me are IT people, business consultants, social media people. We are like a power team and we work together, and business consultants especially, a lot of times they walk into a business and they're like, oh no, I can't do anything here because you got to get that website redone, so perfect. Of course, anybody that also needs a website. So when you walk into a Starbucks or a networking meeting, you've got about 30 to 60 seconds to look around the room and figure out where you're going to sit, who you're going to sit next to, who you're going to talk to, and you already know that within 30 to 60 seconds. When somebody comes to your website, they've got 5 to 7 seconds before the patience runs out and they're on to the next website. So, oh, sorry, back one. Okay, so basically those are what your website needs to state. Who am I? What do I do? What can somebody do on my website? And why does anybody need to do business with me? So, general rule for today, not 10 years ago, these are the old websites, these are the new websites. Clean and simple. People do not like to see clutter. You want to use important elements, and you want to make sure that your eye flows around the page, and less is still more, even to today. So, using good color combinations. Sometimes people want to make things very colorful, but it doesn't work well with the eye. So, stay away from lots of colors and keep, neutrals and a little bit of color combinations, which is a lot more pleasing to the eye. It'll keep people on your site longer. So now we're going to talk about color, because I'm also a graphic designer. Think about what your logo colors stand for. There is a big psychology behind the color, and there's a reason why the fast food guys are all here. So, if you have a logo, that's great. If you're coming up with a logo, if you just kind of think about it, because this is really the emotions that the color invokes in people when they look at it. So that's why you see a lot of toy companies, doing the pink and the red, and it just, these guys spend big money to figure this out, and this is something that everybody should follow. Easily readable fonts, another thing that people get 10 different fonts and try to make it look exciting and do this, which is quite messy and very unattractive. There's a lot of color, and there's 4 different fonts going on here, but it was done really well, and it was put together very attractive, and the eye flows on the page. So it's recommended to use 2 to 3 similar style fonts, and make sure that you keep the fonts in either black, white, or gray, depending on what your background color is. If there's a reason, like if you have a dark background and you want to put a little color, don't do too much color. Easy navigation. So the same way that you look at one of these and you know where to go, it's the same way you need to look at one of these and know where to go. It's exactly the same thing. So if you're lost here, if you're lost there, then you're gonna be lost here if you don't do your navigation the right way. Okay, another thing that's very important on a website is the call to action buttons. That engages people and asks them to click, download, learn more, buy now, subscribe, whatever it is, sign up that you're trying to get them to do. The more you put these on your site, you might not get them on the first page, but you might get them on another page. Okay, so basically this is what somebody sees when they first come to your website. This is the grabber. This needs to be done really, really in a smart way with these 4 elements. So you need the good, clean navigation bar. You need a really good headline or title that's going to grab, a short description of what you do, and then here's your call to action. And of course, a nice looking picture. Okay, once you've captured their attention and they're staying on your website, here's what the rest of the page needs to look like. So this is all called secondary and additional content, and it doesn't have to be exactly in this order, and you don't have to use everything on here. These are just suggestions. You can pick or choose. Certain businesses don't, do some of these. But, benefits is really good to have down here. Highlights about your company. The trust indicators, there's different ways to do that. There's customer testimonials, success stories, Social posts, anything that somebody said about you, those are the trust indicators. And down here, this is considered useful content. So basically, an event, a teaser, something coming up, newsletter sign up, coupon, anything like that. I kind of put it all out there. And I don't know why I didn't put video here, but today's video is very important. So if you have a video that actually explains your product, if you're selling software, or even for your program, a video would definitely come up here.
And
for sure.
Instead, well, we're talking anyway next. Okay.
Okay. Okay, next. Yes, there are exceptions. The big guys don't need to do what we need to do. They've already got one stake and they've already captured you. So, they do their own little thing. A travel company might actually want to focus on, free trips. That's how, somebody that was thinking about this would definitely click on the learn more. So, some of the bigger companies, they just grab you with that first page right away and you're there. Okay, these are general website tips and tricks that I just came up with along the way. If you are blogging, make sure you do it often. Because if you have a blog and you have one article on your blog and it was 2 years ago, don't put a blog on your website. So, often, you can do it once a week, you can do it twice a month, but it's better to not have a blog at all than to have one and not keep it updated. If you have a mission statement, vision, goals, they should be clearly stated, either on your homepage or on your About Us page. Calendars, events, it drives me crazy when I go to a website and I see somebody's event from 6 months ago still on their website. If you want to do that, put it in past events, don't put it in upcoming events. So this is very important today, photos and bios of your team. If you have a team, it's really important to put their photos and even a bio up there because it's more personal and you're interacting now with your clients and it's engaging. So if you do have that, you should put it on there. Make sure your contact form works. You're gonna laugh, but honestly, I go to paste, I fill out things and their contact form doesn't work. And then there's no phone number, I'm on to the next website. Make sure your address, phone, hours of operations, these are simple things, but people don't do it. You have to keep all that stuff updated on your website. Same thing with text. Don't write a lot. People don't like to read. It's better to do small paragraphs with a read more if they're interested to go to that next page. There you can put whatever you want. And this is a major one. Make sure your site loads quickly because a lot of times people put huge images, lots of images. They stuff a page with so many more things instead of putting the next, and it's just insane how, when a site loads slow, you're not going to stay on it. You're going to go off it as well. Does everybody know what responsive is today? Okay, so basically, you need to make sure your website is built in a responsive way so that it looks one way on these, and then for a phone, it actually resizes and readjusts, and it'll actually put the components underneath each other. So it's really important today. A lot of websites haven't been optimized yet for phones and tablets, so you have to do this and this to expand it on your phone, and that's another thing that causes people to just not even bother. So if your website is responsive, it's going to look different on these mediums right here. Okay. Use really good images. Sometimes people send me cell phone images. So I would rather not put images than put blurry cell phone images because they look great on your phone. When we have to blow them up and get them on your top, they look awful, and it's just not. Don't use, invest in a photographer or invest in a good camera, and definitely get good pictures on your website. Same thing I see a lot of people doing right under that main image, they put welcome to our site. That's prime real estate. Don't write welcome to our site. Write what you do. Okay, now I want to talk really quickly about security. For those of you who have WordPress websites, make sure you have a security plugin. If you don't, these sites, unfortunately, any website where your login page sits out there on the internet are hackable. Happens all the time. I have people calling me crying. Make sure that you have a security plugin. They don't help 100% of the time, but they definitely help about 90% of the time. And also, for those of you with WordPress, don't use /WP admin because any hacker knows that's your login page. So you've already given them half of your information, so now they can run their little scripts and their passwords and try to figure out the rest. You need to mask this, and there are ways to do it, but don't use WP admin. Same thing with passwords. No pass 123. No ABC 123, and don't use words that are actually on your homepage, because that's the first. They have these incredible scripts. I've seen it with my own eyes, what they run or attempt to run to get into your website and take it down. Okay. How much longer?
40 seconds.
That's it? Okay, so we can go through these pretty, like, kind of quickly. So before and after for websites.
That's your work?
My work.
Right, oh, before, oh, yeah.
Before and after, for this is an attorney. Go ahead. Another before and after for the people that regulate all the insurance agents.
Totally.
No, it's way better.
This is an oil company in Texas, but they hated all their links over here, so they wanted to focus on environment operations and corporate. Great. This is an audio-visual company, a really high-end one. Their website was not capturing people. I'm sure you recognize the plant, so I won't talk more about it. T-shirt company.
Do they have a number?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Just done. Okay. This is for a nonprofit. Just scroll through kind of quick now. This is for a rehabilitation.
That makes a big.
This is for a computer tech company. And they do mosaics. Pizzeria in West Hills. Horse racing out in Santa Anita, and just breeze through that real quick. These are my graphic design. Yes, this was my baby. I worked with Johnny Rockets. Baroni's here in Westlake. Some of these restaurants are out here. Trade show companies. Miscellaneous. That's it. Yeah.
Can you also, so, where do I begin? Do you do photo shoots too? I mean, not photo shoots, Photoshop?
Photoshop?
Yeah.
To a certain extent,
Like-
it depends. Minor, yes, but I mean, if somebody wants to like take their face and reconstruct it, no.
No. Meaning like, through a photo, and then it's, so I noticed the big picture on the top, but to be able to extend it and then write there.
Oh, I mean, I design all
Like,
those
you can do
myself.
all those
Oh,
things.
absolutely. I mean, if you know, you can either give me pictures or sometimes you combine real pictures with stock.
Right,
Yeah.
and you can do
Oh
that.
yeah. I mean, that's my graphic design.
Got
so
it.
Not
Awesome.
complicated.
Is that Illustrator or?
With that,
Illustrator or?
I do a lot more in Photoshop. Illustrator is more for like designing logos and things like that, but for those kind of things, I use Photoshop to design images.
Any other questions? We have time for a couple more. I have more of a testimonial, if that's okay. Yeah. So I've worked with Lee actually twice now, and she's phenomenal. You know, a lot of companies will say, oh, just give me a quote. Do you really want to work with someone that's just going to give you a quote online? She sits down and says, let's talk about what functions better. What do you think you want? Can I show you something else? So that's number one. Her prices are phenomenal. If you've ever gotten a quote for somebody that does this, you'll think, oh my gosh, it's so expensive. But then you sit down with Lee and you're like, oh, whoa, okay. So that's it. So she's amazing. Use her, and she's affordable.
Thank you.
Yay.
What would you say a misconception about your business is so that we can promote that?
A misconception.
I have one.
That as soon as you put up a website, you make $1 million. That's really it, because people think once I turn it over, they're like, how come I'm not selling anything? So, yeah.
I experienced that. Not me personally.
You made $1 million?
No. I referred her to somebody, and then the question was, why isn't it working? What? But I think the misconception is it's too expensive, I can't afford it.
Yeah, and it's also tough because one thing that I definitely battle is, you know, people out there in India that put up a website for $200 and it's the worst quality. When they come to me, I have to recode the whole thing because they did it so badly. It's not compliant, it's not responsive, it doesn't work here, it doesn't work there, and it's just a nightmare to redo what they've done. So.
Just to piggyback and debunk, I think it's good to say for you, especially looking at your befores and afters, it wasn't necessarily the guys saying it didn't work. You're part component of keeping the person on the website and getting in deeper as opposed to driving the traffic.
Exactly, because driving traffic to a website, that's more social media, that's more marketing.
Right.
Now, yes, as I piggyback on what I said last week, sometimes just by changing a little bit of colors or a little bit of design,
Yeah.
will keep somebody on the website, whereas they wouldn't have stayed on it. But to actually draw traffic off the internet, that's the marketing.
That's not your territory.
I do work with others, and I do, but social media and marketing firms, they work with me too. I build the site, they drive the traffic. So, great. Alrighty. We are, okay. If you'd like to have a coaching session with Lee, please fill out one of